Welcome to the Heal and Restore podcast. We are your hosts, Randy and Cathy Boyd. Last week we discussed trust and how to rebuild it when it's been broken.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, we've been there, had to do that in a very deep way as well. So today we're going to be talking about something simple but powerful, how to help romance, how to keep romance alive in your marriage.
That sounds.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, something we need to always work on.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to do that.
Well, we've been married 41 years, and it's not by looking at each other every night in the house.
That is true. That's true. We've had to be a little intentional there.
Right. So, what we're going to dive into today is we're going to dive into date nights, small surprises, and intentional habits that keep your relationship not just alive, but thriving. Right?
Good.
I mean, it's worked for Cathy and I, and it's working for a lot of our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the journey. This is the goal. The ultimate goal is to keep our love alive and keep it thriving.
Right.
So that's great. I love this.
Well, what Proverbs 5:18 says, let your fountain be blessed and rejoice in the wife of your youth. Now, what this is telling us is to enjoy and treasure the joys of marital intimacy and fidelity. Not only physical intimacy and fidelity, but emotional intimacy and fidelity.
That's really important.
You know, I look at Cathy all the time, and I'm enjoying the wife of my youth. And, we've been married 41 years, so we can go out to dinner and have minimal conversation, really. I mean, it's it's true. I mean, we do talk, but being married 41 years, we just enjoy being with each other.
Almost 42 years. We're just a couple months away.
My goodness gracious.
That's crazy.
Can you believe I stayed married to her that long?
Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Now, here we go.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but it's true. When we go out to dinner, it's like we're content. We're finding the joy in just being with each other and spending time with each other. And I don't know if that's an age thing, a how many years thing, but we've embraced that. We've not gotten, we've not allowed that to get us kind of sideways or spinning.
No,
just being present.
We've had plenty of years too where we just go out and we have fun and enjoy each other. I remember right after we first got married, sitting on the shore of Lake Havasu, where you took a whole 6-pack of Lowenbrow. You didn't drink it, but you poured it over my head.
That was fun.
Yeah.
We had a good time.
We had a good time. Yeah.
Those were our younger days. Definitely.
So,
definitely.
I mean, you just do those kind of silly things to keep love alive.
Yeah. And treasure the joys. That's what we talk about. Treasuring the joys.
Treasure all the little joys. Look at, think of those things as joys in your life and pleasure in your life.
Yeah.
Especially with a busy world today.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So we're going to talk a little bit about why romance fades.
Yes.
Life is busy, and with 2 working parents in most homes, we just have to acknowledge the reality of what's really going on out there. I mean, we have life, we have kids, we have work, we have stress, and I can tell you, we have gone through all of those ourselves. And so it's really important that we just, first of all, acknowledge what's real, acknowledge what's actually happening in our lives. And so we can't not work. If you have kids, you can't just send them back. Life is going to come at you. Things are going to happen. You're going to have a certain amount of stress just waking up every morning and getting out of bed. But then you add to it work stress. You add to it the kids' school. The kids need this, the sports, all of those things. That's what life is really, what's happening in life right now.
Yeah, and if you're married and you have kids, this is what you signed up for.
Yeah,
right?
It's just part of the plan.
And it's real easy. And it's understandable. We get tired, we get burned out. We're going to work, we're taking the kids to school, we're coming home, we're getting the kids, we're going to their extracurricular activities, whether it's dance, cheer, soccer, baseball, whatever it is. We're going 100 miles an hour.
You got to feed the kids somewhere along the way.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, we're going to talk about it more, but don't let that flame go out in your marriage during all of this.
Yeah.
It's real easy to do. But remember, this is just an early part of your relationship.
Right. And the thing is what we want to remember is that routine and emotional fatigue will lead to neglect. Mm-hmm. So how do we get out of that routine? How do we get out of that emotional fatigue? And I think one thing that I've always acknowledged in you, There were times I would get a little frustrated, but you have always been really good about self-care.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that self-care helped you to get out of the life routine of work, kids, family, wife, and you took care of yourself by cycling, going to the gym, things of that nature. And so that helps you to break the routine of life, and it also helps you to break that routine of stress that's going on in your life.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's most of the stress really comes from work, but you take that added stress to work, and then it extrapolates into your personal life. It just happens, right?
Yeah, there's no way around
so
it.
you do need to make sure you take care of yourself in a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other part of this is, there's been times even in our marriage where we felt off track. We didn't, off track. We weren't connected emotionally.
Right.
We weren't connected romantically.
Right.
There were just things where it just got so busy. And I think the biggest time that I remember that happening was when our kids were involved in sports. And we had all three of them going at one point.
Yeah.
And we were coaching. You coached Garrett, I coached Alyssa. It was just, we were going all the time.
Yeah, and then we had, all of them, especially Danny and Garrett, they were in travel ball a lot with soccer and baseball. So they were going a lot. And so I was going one way, Cathy was going another.
Yeah, it was just a little crazy.
Yeah, so it's just part of life.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So it's real easy to become, I hate to use this word, but unconnected with your better half.
But I think the main thing is to realize when that's happening, and we, recognize it and then do something about it. Don't just stay stuck in it.
No.
I think that's where a lot of us don't know what to do. But, we talk about dry seasons, and that's kind of what it is. Dry seasons are going to happen, but they don't have to be permanent.
No.
So this is where it's time this is the most important time to take care of each other.
Yep.
There's a few things we can do, and we have some information we're going to share at the end of this podcast, but things that you guys can do together that you don't normally do. And I love some of these ideas.
And on that, I mean, but you don't necessarily have to go out and spend a lot of money.
No, right? Exactly.
You necessarily don't even have to go out.
No, and so the one thing that came to my mind was, cooking a new recipe together at home.
Yeah.
Do something out of the ordinary, because remember, if we get caught in routine, that's where the emotional fatigue comes into play. So do something where you cook a recipe together. Maybe go out.
Have a food fight together.
Oh, no, that's not what that's about.
Well, that could be fun.
It could be, and that would be something you would do for sure. But, you could also go out for a nice walk in the neighborhood, take a hike. Those are just a few things you can do.
Yeah.
But there's going to be dry seasons, but when you recognize the season being dry and it's, ready to spark a flame, and not a good flame, but a fire, do something.
So it comes down, what kind of a choice are you going to make during that? Are you going to, keep on letting the flame completely, go out and just become super dry? Or are you going to make a choice to take 20 minutes, 30 minutes for you and your spouse?
Yeah.
Like just spend some quality time together.
Remember, the dry season is not a permanent season.
We recommend it with our clients, and go for a date night. Could be go to ice cream and sit down for a half hour, right?
Yeah.
And the ones that are doing it, it's just changing the way they love each other.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of the next category we're falling into, is the power of those date nights.
Right.
What is a date night? It's not always just going out for dinner. It's a time for personal and intentional connection with each other.
Exactly.
So it doesn't have to, like you said earlier, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It can be something as simple as going for coffee, or, like you say, ice cream. We suggest ice cream quite often, and believe it or not, our couples are following through, and they're doing a lot of little ice cream dates.
Right.
But regular date nights help in so many ways. And when we say regular, we're not talking every night. We're not talking maybe once a week or every other week is important.
Yeah, at least every other week.
Yeah.
At least twice a month.
So the reason that we encourage that is they deepen the emotional intimacy between the two of you. And it's really important, because just spending time away together and just having short, small conversations will deepen the emotional intimacy.
Here's one thing that I used to do with Cathy. Now, it depends on your work situation, but I used to take Cathy at lunch in the middle of the day.
That's right.
I had my own business, so I had the freedom to do that. I had the freedom to take off when I wanted to take off. So I would take Kathy lunch during the middle of the day. If you can't take it to her,
nowadays you can have it
you
delivered.
can have it delivered to her, right? Or
Yeah.
or to your husband, vice versa.
Yeah.
Vice versa. Either way, those little tiny things like that can go a long way. It's a way of showing love that a lot of people don't understand, or it's
it
simple.
Feels so good to receive something like that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. So another thing that the regular date night will do is it'll help improve your communication.
Yeah.
When you can get away from children, work environment, family environment, you just have each other, so you will have some conversation.
Right.
And so doing that is going to improve your communication for sure.
Almost go back to when you first started going out with your partner or your spouse, right? You know, think about those days, how much fun you used to have and how you used to laugh together
Absolutely.
and so on and so forth. Go back to those days. I mean, you know, like I said, Kathy and I are 42 years old, and
42 years in our marriage.
42 years in marriage. I wish I was 42
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, me too.
Boop, boop. We're almost 42 years in our marriage, right? And we still get goofy with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, it's important. Kathy's really good at being goofy. I'm getting better.
You are.
I'm getting better at it.
Some of your goofies just kind of goofy.
Well, it's goofy. It makes you laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you laugh, even though it's like, you didn't really just say that.
I know. Or you didn't just do that?
Yeah. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did. And then another thing that date nights help improve is they rekindle attraction and laughter. And that's kind of what we're talking about, is the little silly things that we can do with each other.
It's okay to laugh.
Remind us of why we're in this relationship, what attracted us to our spouse to be.
Here's what you can do. Your spouse is in the shower. There's a couple of different things you can do. I'm going to give you two things. One, wait till they're all sudsed up and then go turn the water off to the house.
Yep.
That's one
that
thing.
happened.
That's happened to me quite a few times. Or just go in the kitchen, get a pitcher of ice water, and just kind of reach over the shower and dump it on them. Right?
That's happened.
Hey, it's all in fun. Okay, it's all in fun.
Yeah, we've done that.
Yep.
A few times.
Yep.
Yeah. And, you know, we've had some really cool date nights that didn't take a lot. And we each have one here. And one of my favorite ones, we did it after we moved here to Arizona. Valentine's Day is always kind of an overrated dinner night, in my opinion. I know a lot of people love it, and that's perfectly fine. But, you know, I just didn't know what to do, and I wanted to do something different. It was our first Valentine's here. And so what I did, I went on Amazon. I actually ordered a red check blanket type thing, and I actually created a picnic in our living room. Yeah. We had baked beans from the deli. We had chicken wings. We had coleslaw. Anything that you would do out in a picnic. And we sat on the floor over our coffee table. And had it all set up as a picnic. So I just still think that was just a fun, small gesture for our date night.
She planned it all herself. Yeah. I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, it was great. So. You have one too, and I do love this one as well.
When we first got married, you know, we lived in Dana Point, and there was a restaurant called the Harbor House. It's quite famous now. Back then, it was a lot smaller.
Just a beachy little place.
Just a little beachy house, great food. And we used to walk there from our little one-bedroom house we had there right off the Coast Highway in Dana Point. And we'd walk down to the Harbor House a couple times a week for dinner.
Yeah, we did.
It was just something we loved to do, and it was relaxing. It was a nice atmosphere.
And I didn't have to cook.
And she didn't have to cook. Well, I didn't. Either one of us didn't.
Neither one of us did. Yeah.
Right. So little things like that. I mean, if we lived there still, we'd probably still be. We would be doing that. We'd still be doing it. Right?
Yeah, so, definitely.
And we still do ice cream dates once in a while.
And sometimes it's so random. I'm like, "Do you want ice cream? Yeah, you want ice cream? Okay, let's go." It might be 7:30 at night. Right. We've had dinner. We're just sitting around in our lounge. And we're ready to go get ice cream.
For us, it's maybe once a month.
Yeah.
Because I'm not big into the sugar. It kills me. But we do that about once a month.
We do treat ourselves, definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And, you know, one of the things that we're putting out here, talking about dates and the importance of it, we are going to have available to you, we have the Intentional Date Night Planner. And you can find that on our website at www.healandrestorecounseling.com. If you want that, Randy's going to put up a link there that you'll be able to click on that and download it and print it. And it gives you opportunity to not only just plan out the date, it gives you some ideas and some suggestions. It also gives you an opportunity to kind of journal how the date went, so you can reflect on that. Who's going to choose the date? Who's going to choose who? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? All of that. So check out our website. We'll have that up there for you that you can print that out and use that as like a guide, a little template to help you.
And that's the other thing we suggest with our couples is that alternate who's going to plan the date day, right? And more importantly, like Cathy says, sometimes just make it random.
Yeah.
Right? You could be out driving and maybe you just finished dinner and you say, hey, let's go, like Cathy and I, let's go have some ice cream, right?
Or you could do like I do. I'm driving home after dinner and I get off an exit before I'm supposed to get off. Aki says, where are you going? I said, nowhere. And I go right to our little favorite ice cream place. So I just made the decision without even asking.
Right.
So it's fun. Makes it fun.
Right.
And then the other thing that we want to talk about is the surprise gestures that say, I see you, I love you, you're important to me, I value you.
Yeah.
And so all of these small gestures that we can offer to our partner, our significant other, our spouses are great. They can be something as simple as a handwritten note.
And I was famous. I was great at this with Cathy.
He was really good at that.
I would put these little stickies and I'd put them in her car before she get ready to go to work. Mm-hmm. I love you because. Yeah. And then I would write why I loved her. Right. Mm-hmm. Those were really good things. She loved them. Yeah. Right. She would always kind of shoot me a text or call me. Thanks for the little note. I appreciate it. Yeah. Or the one she liked the most, she liked to take some boiled eggs to work, right? And so she'd be in the shower getting ready for work, and I would boil the eggs for her and get them all ready. And then I would sit there on the eggs, and I'd write, like it might be a mom, a dad, and a child egg, 3 eggs, right? And then I would write faces on there with some silly little sayings for each one of them. Yeah, you did. And then I would wrap them up in paper towels and put them in the baggie. She had no idea what I did until she got to work.
Yeah, and so that was the way I started my day. Was just with a smile on my face. Yeah. Something else besides a handwritten note that always goes a long way is their favorite snack. Just leave it on the dashboard. Right. Whether it's a candy bar or maybe it's a protein shake or some nuts, whatever that might look like.
Nuts, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then this next one I really love too is, plan something that they usually do. For example, let's say one of you is always responsible for grocery shopping. Right. Take care of grocery shopping yourself. That says, I see you, I value you. If doing it for somebody else. For me, a lot of times, I will take the trash out. And that's typically a Randy job in our house. But I'll take the trash out and no big deal. And I think that's what it says. I see you, I value you. You're important to me.
And when she does it, she doesn't, I'm usually surprised. She doesn't say nothing to me. She doesn't nag me back because I do take it out quite regularly. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, you took the trash out. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Right? Little things
so plan something that you normally would do for your spouse or your significant other. And then the other one, I think this is another one that you were always really good at, is sending a midday, I'm thinking of you text or maybe a little prayer or something that just is going to enlighten their day.
Yeah, I'll send her a little text, say, I love you, beautiful. Just something simple like that. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I know that, I'm going to say it this way, I know that in today's world, we think a lot of women don't need to hear that, and maybe some don't, but I believe, and when we talk to all of our clients, they do need to hear those kind of things all the time. I mean, Cathy hears it probably 3 or 4 times. She hears it in the morning when she wakes up. I bring her a cup of coffee. Good morning, beautiful. I love you. Mm-hmm. Pretty much every morning, right? Whenever we leave each other, okay, goodbye, I love you. I'll see you when you get back, right? Mm-hmm. Drive carefully or whatever. They mean a lot. And I understand a lot of people grew up never hearing those kind of words before. But again, it comes down to a choice. Do you want to continue that, or do you maybe want to start a new habit that's going to bring you and your partner closer together?
Bring joy in your marriage.
Bring joy in your marriage, happiness in your marriage. Cathy and I still have spats. Yeah. Don't get us wrong. No, but it's like we get over them fairly quickly.
Yeah. Well, we've done a lot of work on it.
That's true.
That's taking us there. And the last thing that you can do to let your significant others know that you see them is understanding their love languages. And love languages are so important.
Yes.
Sometimes I think once we did our love languages and we understood him, it wasn't so much my love language was for me. Your love language was for me. I needed to know what your love language
Right.
was so that I could show you those nice gestures. So
Right.
that, like, for example, yours is physical touch as I'm sitting here with
Right.
my hand on your knee. So those types of things are important. So know your spouse's, your partner's love languages so that you can show and tailor your gestures towards what makes them feel loved.
And Kathy's main love language is quality time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So quality time for her could just be sitting on the couch watching TV together at night, right?
Yeah.
That's why she likes to go out with me so much, go out to dinner,
Yeah.
whatever. And believe it, Kathy and I have traveled a lot, and when we don't travel, I mean, I wouldn't want anybody else but Kathy to travel with because I enjoy her company, right? She's a great person to be with. She knows how to have fun. And in a lot of ways, her and I are a lot alike when we travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to have all the glitz and glamour and all that.
Mm-mm.
It's just like, let's go, let's have fun, and let's explore.
Kind of random. We just like spontaneous.
Yeah.
Definitely
If we're going on a
spontaneous.
cruise, we don't go on any of the excursions. We do our own excursions.
Yeah, we create them.
We just got to make sure we're back to the ship before we leave.
Yeah, that's always a good idea. Yeah, and then we want to talk also that I think this is really important is the emotional and spiritual impact that we can have. How do we build emotional safety, reduce the tension, and create anticipation? And so this is something that's really kind of cool is that, God surprises us every day. He's pursuing us every day. God's design is for intentional love. And so just as God pursues us with his intentional love, not out of his obligation, but out of delight, we are called to reflect that same pursuit in our marriages.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yes.
So it might be a thoughtful note, like we've talked about, a surprise date, or an unexpected act of kindness. It reminds our spouse that I see you, I'm choosing you, I still delight in you. And so what it does, when we're doing that, it mirrors the heart of God. And I love that. And it doesn't just become a routine, but it becomes personal and pursuing always. We want to always pursue.
Just as God pursues us.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Pursue with your heart.
Pursue with your heart, not out of obligation.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, we talked a little bit about this too, we see the difference when we can apply a lot of these things in not only in our marriage, but when we can help other clients pursue these things, it has changed them drastically in their marriages. They feel seen, they feel valued, they feel loved. And a lot of them are having to kind of start all over at the basics because they've gotten so far away from that. And we did as well. We got so far away of the value of having a close relationship with each other.
Because here's what happens, and I want you to, we haven't touched on this yet, is when you become empty nesters, if you let that flame burn out, it's like,
where did you come from?
Where'd you come from? It's like learning to love your spouse or partner all over if you don't keep that routine going.
Yeah.
Right?
We want to keep that light, that light always bright. So, but these are things that we have to be intentional about. And so what we want to do is talk about a few takeaways here. And so I have some ideas for you. If you are listening, here's a couple things I'd like you to think about doing this next week. So plan a simple date night. Even if it's at home after your kids are in bed, if you have small children, just plan a simple date night. Maybe it's just picking up ice cream and sitting out in your back porch and having a bowl of ice cream together.
And we know a lot of couples that will just, once the kids go to bed, they're in a place where they can go out back in their backyard and they might have a little fire pit and they just sit around the fire enjoying the peace and quiet of the outdoor together and having, a mutual conversation.
Yeah. And the other thing I'd like you to think about is doing something by surprise, surprising your spouse with something that's meaningful to them. The key is without expecting anything in return. Yeah. So do something that is special to your spouse, your partner, your lifelong best friend, and don't expect anything in return.
So this comes into what comes into play here is how well do you really know your spouse? Do you know what really excites them? Do you know the little things that make them happy?
And if you don't, ask, and then pocket that thought.
Right. It's kind of like I heard this once and I really like it. It's like we're going out to dinner and the wife and the husband goes, or the wife goes, "Where are we going to go?" And it kind of goes back and forth, and the husband finally looks at the wife. He goes, he goes, what was the name of that place that you really always wanted to go to for dinner? I can't think of that. You remember what that place was? And she goes, yeah, Carrabba's, Italian food. Yeah, that's where we're going to go tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, make it, if you don't know.
If you don't remember.
You don't remember.
Invite the conversation.
Invite the conversation somehow, some way.
Yeah. I like that.
I just did that with Cathy.
Yeah,
that very restaurant.
That very restaurant. That's what happened to us. So
I think 2 weeks ago we did that.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So after you've done this, if you've planned a simple date or you've surprised your spouse with something that's meaningful to them, what I'm going to encourage you to do is get a journal and write about it. How did it make you feel?
Mm-hmm.
What changed in the connection between the two of you?
Right.
I think what happens is if we become so redundant and so routine in our everyday life, including dating your spouse, we forget that there's little changes. We have to be aware of the connections that are being made.
We have one of our clients that, man, this person, I'm not going to say it's a he or a she, but this person writes some phenomenal stuff.
Yeah.
It's an assignment we gave her about her spouse.
You just said her.
It's
a her.
It's a her. But it's like, man, and believe it or not, it really has changed our relationship.
Yeah, in our sessions, I'm able to share it with both of them, and I have a hard time not crying because it hits me so deep in the soul. So, journaling after a date night, how did it make you feel? What changed in the connection between us? It is going to help bring an awareness of the value and how important that is in that. So, that's awesome. So just a couple things we want to just kind of close out with is the key points here is romance needs intentionality. We can't do this just by, it's going to happen. No, be intentional.
But when's she going to plan it? Don't get involved in that game. You just keep planning it. It's like
be intentional.
Guys are coming to me, what about her? She's not doing that. I go, I don't care what she's doing. You just keep doing the thing. You do the right thing. You keep planning it. And then eventually, right, if we're working with them, eventually, your spouse will plan because we might have to coach them a little bit on that. But just be intentional. You keep your side of the street clean.
Absolutely. Right? And remember, the little things make the big difference. Right. Little things make the big difference. So don't get caught up on having to do things super big. Stay small, stay simple. And remember, you don't have to wait for a spark.
No.
You can create that. You can create one yourself, but never let the flame die out. That's one of the things that we have always been so cautious about is not letting our flame die out. It got dim for a while.
Yeah.
But we were able to get it sparking
again. I used to tell Cathy all the time, we can't let the flame, it can flicker. Mm-hmm. It can flicker, but we can't let it go out. Yeah. I think even in our darkest time, when I was dealing with my addictions and stuff, I don't think the flame ever went out. It went to a very low flicker.
It was a little dim, It definitely dim.
It never went. I think if it would have gone out, we wouldn't be back.
Definitely. No. So if this episode encouraged you, which we hope it has, we would love for you to leave a review. You can do that on our website. You can do that in most of the listening platforms. Make sure you share it with a friend.
Absolutely.
And, grab our free date night planner. Remember that date night planner is available to you at our website at www.healandrestorecounseling.com. And as always, keep choosing love, keep showing up, and keep healing courageously.
It takes a lot of courage to make these changes. So just walk through the fear.
Yeah, I love that. So we also want to invite you to check out our books on Amazon. So Randy, you want to share? You are the main writer here of these books, and he's done a lot of work in that. So why don't you share the books that we have available through Amazon?
Okay, it's Healing the Wounded Child Within, which is, oh my goodness, boy, Healing the Child. It's sharing the healing from the pain. It's a book on healing from the pain of abuse.
Yeah.
Okay. How to Heal and Restore Your Marriage is a 4-step process to restore the most important relationship. Renewing Bonds, 7 steps to restore your relationship. And How to Heal and Restore Your Marriage. Even if you say my marriage is good, you probably need to read this book more.
That would apply to any of these, I think.
Any of these books. They're all going to help you grow in your marriage one way or the other, okay? And then we got Hearts Reunited, which is steps to restore love and intimacy in your relationship. I got the 30-day devotion of the wholeness, and a new release coming real soon is the Healing Path, the Survivor's Guide to Healing from Abuse. all the books are available on Amazon.
Mhm.
All of these are. So, and there's one other book that I'm in the process of writing, Quit Taking Things Personal.
Yep, we'll get to that one day.
One day.
So that was great. I love this. This was a good one. I love this conversation today. Thank you for that, honey.
Yep, you bet.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah.
So, we got one more thing, right?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, don't
I'm
forget that.
I forgot. Yeah, I was looking at you. I thinking we were closing this
I know
out.
you did.
Hey, so yeah, we do. We still have our 1 hour no cost discovery session. And this has been like key to developing relationships with our clients. And what we do in this 1 hour session is it gives you an opportunity to share with us a little bit about yourselves, some of the things you might be struggling with or things that you need help on, to get you started on your healing journey. And it also gives us an opportunity to share a little bit about us, you know, who we are, what drives us, why are we doing what we're doing. And we have found this the best way to develop and to build trust when you're starting a healing journey.
Right.
And so we invite you to our website again at healandrestorecounseling.com. You can sign up for your free no cost 1 hour discovery session. At the end of that session, we will tell you a little bit about our program, how it works, the cost, etc. We never want anybody to feel like finances are hindering them from their healing journey.
Right.
So we will work with you on any type of a payment plan that works for you. We're not going to hinder that. We know that life is there's too much value in a healthy relationship to let finances hinder it. So check out our website for more information. You can also follow all of our listening platforms, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook. We've got them all out there. So please feel free to join us on any of those platforms. Share our information with anybody that you think will benefit from it.
And like and subscribe, especially we got YouTube.
I said YouTube.
Okay. Like and subscribe to all of these platforms if you would.
Yep, that's good.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, honey.
You got it, babe.
Yep.
Is that it?
That's it.
That's it. So remember this. If nobody tells you they love you today, Randy does.
Cathy does.
More importantly, God does. Be blessed, everybody. Have a fabulous week.
Have a great week.